Welcome everybody to the City Council recap for Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. And today is the last recap for 2024.
Yes. And I'm really excited because I was on the very first recap.
Well, you got the first and then you got the last, which is awesome for 2024. We'll have a whole lot more in 2025. But I am Julie Bank, and with me is
Barbara Golar.
And you could tell we are actually reindeers today, giving you.
I'm a reindeer?
You're a reindeer.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I couldn't remember.
With sparkles. You're a sparkly
Oh,
reindeer.
yeah. I like the sparkle.
Sparkles. You got the sparkle team and the reindeer team here because we are celebrating the holidays. And in this city council meeting, there was a whole bunch of ugly sweaters, which we'll talk about in a particular moment.
I love those ugly
We figured
sweaters.
we'd play the part. So again, we are here to recap the December 17th City Council meeting. And as a reminder, these recaps are so that you don't necessarily have to go to the City Council meetings, although they would love it if you came in attendance. And this one had a lot of people there because there was a lot going on. Mm-hmm. But if you can't, then you can watch these recaps. And Chris Los always wants us to say that you too could be sitting at this seat. So if you are interested in being part of our small but mighty recap team, please reach out to KGEM and let us know. So to jump right into it, I will tell you that the first 4 minutes and 23 seconds of the actual video on KGEM was like them moving around the chambers. So if you're going to jump into it, it was actually at 4 minutes and 23 seconds in if you wanted to watch it. And that was call to order at 7 minutes and 7:33 p.m. is when it actually got called to order. So the meeting was called to order in honor of Alana Michelle.
She was so
totally cutie patootie.
Yes.
She is a newborn for Eric and Veronica. Unfortunately, I didn't catch your names, but I tell you, I just want to pinch your cheeks.
I know, that's the first thing I thought. I go, look at those cheeks.
I don't have any babies in my house, so anytime I see babies, I just want to smell them and hold them. And anyway, the invocation was given by Joel Larson, and then the pledge was given by Councilmember Edward Belden. So at 7:59, there was roll call. Everybody was in attendance. They had a closed meeting report that they talked about 8 minutes, 13 seconds in, but there was no actionable reports discussed or action discussed. And then they jumped into the presentations and proclamations. And at 8 minutes and 33 seconds in, they had this amazing ugly sweater contest. And I'll tell you, they were fighting for the trophy.
I know, it was so funny because I'm looking at Sergio and
he wanted it.
I know,
he wanted that trophy back.
I know, but then Dr. Kelly, it was so funny.
She pulled it out of the park by telling everybody that Santa was going to come to their house.
Yes, because there was a boatload of children in attendance yesterday.
Yes,
on
so now
Tuesday.
Dr. Kelly, I'm going to see what happens about Santa Claus coming to your house, but we'll see. In the end, it was Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly who won the contest, and it was actually really fun to see everybody be silly and enjoy their. Sometimes we need silly.
Yes, we do.
Sometimes we need silly. And we're all good. All right, at 6 minutes, 12 seconds in, we went to my favorite part of each month, which is the pet of the month. The Pasadena Humane Society brought Nita, an 8-year-old, beautiful little girl, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Who I will tell you that I love senior pets, and senior pets are the best, so consider one. They are asking people to consider becoming a foster parent or adopting an animal during the holiday. They are having an event called the Roses and Wet Noses event, which is any animal that's over 40 pounds will be fee-waived adoptions. And they wanted to remind everybody that you do need to license your dog.
Yes.
And that their licensing team is going to be walking around the city of Monrovia for the next 2 weeks. So don't run from them. He suggested you go bring them cookies and then buy your dog license, which is an
Yes.
important thing to help get your animal home safely if they get lost.
Right.
So please adopt Nita, 8-year-old pup. At 19 minutes and 50 seconds in, they then spoke about the holiday parade winners. So we had this amazing holiday parade, and that you might not know that they're actually, all those entries are being judged. So they brought the winners up. So I'm going to read those winners.
Yes.
The best band was Clifton Middle School.
Yay.
The best float was Mayflower Elementary School. The judge's choice was Plymouth Elementary School.
Yay, Plymouth.
The best dance squad was the Brad Oaks Village Dance Team.
Was that the girls that came out and
Little
did this?
little girls, they were so cute.
Oh yeah. It was
There's
them.
a bunch of little
Yay,
girls.
Yes.
And then best holiday spirit was another dance team called Dancing for His Glory. Congratulations to
Yeah.
all of them, and I'm thrilled that there was youth in every one of these. They really
Yes.
take it seriously, and
Yes.
it was really terrific. They then went to the holiday home decorating contest. There were 22 entries, and full disclosure, I was one of the judges, and it is one of my most fun things to do each year because we get to go on a bus and we get to go look at all
really?
22 of the entries, and we get to see how amazing the spirit is out there. And thanks to all 22 entries, you can go online to pull down a map.
Oh, that's
And
right.
the map will give you all of the entries' locations and also the stars on where the winners are.
Oh,
Too
good.
many for us to talk about here right now. But, it's a fun thing to do when you're off during the holidays is to pop your whole family in your car and go drive around and look at all 22 of the entries. And also, on that same flyer is the entries for the Old Town window contest. So the businesses in Old
and
Town.
I didn't realize that they
do it too.
Do that as well. So that was exciting. To
So
see that too.
there were 4 winners there. The Judges Award went to Let's Go Hair. Jake's got an award. However, I didn't capture the name of that award. The Holiday Spirit Award went to Hot Shots Salon. And the Spectacular Award went to Casa Nova Roofing.
Yeah.
But all of the entries are on that form. So go on the website, the city website, and you can pull down and go drive around and have some candy and hot chocolate and
Yes.
have some fun looking at lights. 31 minutes and 24 seconds in, they did a proclamation for World War II veteran Joe Sciarra. It was his 100th birthday.
Oh my goodness! That was to be there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And he was
And
so poised.
Yes.
It was amazing.
And I kept saying, he's 100.
I know. He was so poised, and one thing that he said that resonated me was he's like, I got stories to tell.
Yes.
I felt like I just wanted to sit him down and hear those stories.
I know. I did too.
I wanted to bring my son, and I wanted to have him hear what life was like before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when a couple of years back during Black History Month, it was African Americans and the war, or the veterans. And so I had the opportunity to interview some African American veterans. And excuse me, unfortunately, I think last year, our World War II veteran, Norman Ross, passed away, but I had the opportunity to interview him.
It's amazing to think about what they went through.
Yeah,
and-
but especially, I don't want to not say other people, but especially the African Americans,
Yeah.
because of just hearing his
Yeah.
story, and he still talks about America and that he would do it all over again because he left school. He didn't tell the truth about his age. you know.
There's so much patriotic.
Yes, yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, Mr. Skiera.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
And as a reminder, there is a Veterans Resource Center at the library if anybody is interested in getting more information, volunteering your time there, or if you're a veteran and need some support. There was no student report because apparently the student representative was at a soccer game. And then they moved on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar was at 45 minutes and 6 seconds in. So if you want to go right to the consent calendar, that's CC1 to CC13. And it was Sergio Jimenez motioned, Mr. Spicer second, and all were in favor. And then at 45.48 minutes in, they went to public input, not on the agenda. And the first thing was, drum roll here, Ms. Golar and the other board members of the community media of the Foothills. And what was really neat to see, I will say, is that you brought the whole board there and you introduced the whole board to the community and to the world. And I think, things are looking good.
Yeah, and really and truly, that was our whole purpose, is to be able to, because the city council had our names.
Mm-hmm. But they need to see their faces.
But they need to see, and my goal as president is for the board to be out in the community.
Good. So you two could see their faces by going and looking and hearing everything about what they've done over the past year, and I think you're going to want to get involved, which is really terrific.
Absolutely.
So the next speaker was Robert Hansen. He had a question about whether there was plans to add a dog park to a recreation park, and later on Dylan came back and said at one point we were talking about it, but the community wasn't really interested in it. So there isn't, and they referred him back to Tina Cherry, who can tell him more and answer his questions more. At 58 minutes and 33 seconds in, we went to RCM1, which is reports from the city manager and staff. And Dylan only had a few things to talk about. He discussed inclusionary housing policy in the closed session and said if there's anybody who wants more information on that, you can go on the website. He said that in an upcoming meeting in January or February, we're going to have an update on PD and crime, and we're going to have full data. He also talked about Prop 36, which reclassifies some new items that have to do with state fire marshal, upgrade fire maps, and that could impact those Monrovians that are living more in the fire areas. So he says that's going to be discussed down the road once the maps come out as well. I'm not quite sure. He says it impacts high fire zones, and the map will come out in the new year. So, in 1 hour, 3 minutes, 54 seconds in, we had the reports from City Council. Starting with Council Member Spicer. He wanted to remind everybody that there is the New Year's Eve events, and there's two events coming up. There's something called Noon Year Eve, which is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the littles. And if you're a biggers and wants to see the ball drop, then you can go to the 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Myrtle. Hope to see you there. He talked about the community center renovation project, and he said you can go online to see more information about that. There's lots of history and lots of information on that. Yeah. He also talked about that there's free COVID tests and masks at the community center for residents, so if you'd like to get one, go down there. Did you get yours?
Well, no, I had, there was a bunch given to me. I have.
So you have enough.
Yes, I could share with the universe.
He also gave a shout out attaboy to the staff regarding the amazing holiday parade that just happened. He called it the Christmas parade, but it is officially titled the Holiday Parade, and that is so that we can celebrate all different.
Yeah. I have to say that was a lot of fun because my family was also in it, riding in one of the old cars for Monrovia Historical Society.
Awesome.
We were in there. Yeah, It was fun.
Well, he also wished everybody a Merry Christmas and New Year. And I think we heard that as a theme throughout the thing of holiday cheer and wanting people to have holiday cheer this time of the year. He also said that Kenyon Park is actually, the opening of Kenyon Park is a little delayed, so that's going to open spring of 2025 instead of December. That was the original plan.
Yeah. Oh, spring.
Spring of 2025. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is right around the corner.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Councilmember Belden came next, and he spoke about the Clean Power Alliance board that he's on. And he said that 90% of Monrovians are participating in the Clean Power Alliance program, which is amazing. He also talked there's an e-bike incentive program. So if you're looking to purchase an e-bike, there's a rebate. I think you can find out that information on the city website.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly also wanted to thank not only the staff, but also wanted to thank all the volunteers that participate in city functions throughout the year and sent a big shout out to them. Also talked about the Welcome Wagon premiere, which was a video that was put on by KJAM. I have not seen it yet, but I can't wait to go on.
It is wonderful. We had the opportunity, because they premiered it.
Can we find it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube now,
Okay,
and it's
good.
also, if you have Spectrum, it's also airing.
Okay.
But we had the opportunity to watch it here on a bigger screen, and it was amazing.
Awesome. I have a quick funny Welcome Wagon story. So we had moved here, and the Welcome Wagon never came. And I spoke to the Welcome Wagon folks, and I was like, "You never came to my house." And then about a month later, they showed up at the house to bring me my Welcome Wagon stuff. But at that time, we were having a big old party at the house. It was actually my son's bar mitzvah at our house in the middle of COVID. So there's John and Hal standing in my doorway with their Welcome Wagon, and I had all these people in my house, and I was like, "Well, you're welcome to come in if you want," but they didn't. They were gracious and left. But it was very funny. Yeah. I was like, "Now you come." It was just very cute. They provide a really great service, and we encourage everybody to watch this Welcome Wagon. Then was Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly, we were talking about, also said that there is a MOTAB event, a networking meeting at Merengue on January 6th from 9:30 to 10:30, if anybody would like to come to that. We moved on to Councilmember Jimenez, and he talked about a whole bunch of toy drives that occurred. So there was the PD Association car show, the Monrovia Guild, and the Knights of Columbus all had toy drives, and I'm sure would still happily take toys to get to kids who need them if you want. And then we moved on to Mayor Shevlin, and she spoke about the Santa tours and did a great thank you to the PD and fire. I was so bummed. I was on a meeting when I heard Santa coming down my block, and I was like, I gotta go out and see Santa, and I missed him, so I was really upset. But thank you, PD and fire, for bringing Santa to our communities.
When they came by our house, I'd just come home from feast, and so I had called my roommate. I go, because we knew it was coming. And so she said, "No, they haven't come yet, Barbara." I said, "Okay." I get home, probably like 2 minutes. One of our members lives down the street. She goes, "Barbara, they're on their way." I said, "Okay." I went running outside.
There's an interactive map online that you can actually follow them.
Oh, that
That's
was
too much.
Too much.
Too much tech. There is an interactive map though. You can find out when they're coming down your butt.
That's right. But it was so fun. I'm standing out there, and there was other people standing out, which was so much fun. So much fun.
She also talked about another toy drive, the Sparks of Love toy drive, and then also spoke about the San Gabriel event, San Gabriel Valley. I don't even know what it's a committee she's on, and they had a vehicle summit, which she said was really interesting. So, want to learn more information about anything that they spoke about? Go to the website. Take a look at KGEM at the meeting right then. So 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 46 seconds in is when they kind of went down to business. I thought honestly, as I was watching this, I thought, oh, this is going to be an entirely fun, upbeat, happy holiday meeting.
Yeah.
But then they did have some business. So AR1, which was the 2025 Measure K spending plan, and they were recommending that they spend in the amount of $16,019,040. And just so you know, the current amount is $31.6 million. So they want to spend a little over $16 million of that. And here's the 7 projects that they want to spend it on. The Peck and Myrtle Road resurfacing, the Satori Chinishi Park renovation or building, some land acquisition for affordable housing. They want to spend some money on senior program enhancements. They want to spend the money on community center design, library enhancements, and the Mountain Avenue signalization and road resurfacing. So those are the 7 things that this $16+ million will spend, and it was passed. I didn't write down who motioned, but it was passed. So if you want to hear more information, it was a good presentation, and that was a little over an hour in.
Okay.
They did also say that they involved the Citizens Advisory Committee, which was part of the law, and that they had a 2.5-hour meeting, and that they established March and September meetings for that committee so that they can continue to watch it. Actually, I did write it down. Mr. Spicer motioned, Mr. Jimenez second, and then all were in favor. So those 7 projects are now going to be funded through Measure K, which is cool. The next thing was the AR2, which was revisions to the Go Monrovia service hours and lift past fare, and an amendment to the agreement with Pro Park Transportation. We've been hearing a lot about this issue at past board meetings, and a couple of weeks ago, the board had asked the staff to look at it again and come back with more solutions. So they did, and they always do a really wonderful job of looking at it and coming back with a full presentation. So if you want to know more about that, please go look at that. They did review Uber, and they said Uber was similar to Lyft, and that they could not confirm availability for wheelchair users. There was some issue with wheelchair users and certain vehicles, and Uber and Lyft were similar. They also looked and went back to ProPark and ultimately was able to negotiate with them and reduce the cost, which was great. And they also showed all the funding sources of where this funding was coming from. There was some conversation about how this program is impacting CIP projects, and the things that they gave, that the staff gave for them to consider, showed how much money would go to CIP projects versus how much money would go to the program here. They had a couple of options. Option 1 was to switch back where the rider pays the fixed fee of $6 and the city pays the difference. Just to remind everybody, right now, the rider pays $3.
Yes.
So they are looking at potentially going up to $6. Option 2 is to make it $5 instead of $6, so that they would have more or less money for capital improvement projects. And ultimately, they voted for the $6 fee with the city paying the difference. And they also voted for the new program with the pro group with the less fees. They also reminded everybody that you can pay 50 cents and use the transit program instead of using Lyft. So there is still a cheaper option as well. They also looked at new hours.
But with transit, is it still that it's a 24-hour?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But you can, if that's, if the issue is going to, there was some concern about going to like doctor's appointments and things like that, you could plan it. They did
Yeah.
also change the hours. Saturday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. There was a couple of public comments. Edie was concerned that $6 was too much, and she was voting for the $5. And then Michael Kaplan wanted to thank the city staff for listening to their concerns at the last meeting. And that's just a reminder, go listen to, if you have something to say, go to a city council meeting.
It is so
'cause
important to do
It
that.
is, and they will listen and they will
Yeah.
go back and look at it again. So they thank the city staff for listening and for going back and making modifications. Ultimately, Councilmember Spicer motioned, Councilmember Belden second, and everybody was in favor to pass the new hours and to pass it at $6, and then the city pays the rest.
And that becomes effective.
That becomes effective January, and it is,
Right.
if I understood this correctly, it is only for 6 months where they will then go back and kind of look, or at least the transit part is only 6 months where they'll go back to look at renegotiating again. So either way, you want to learn more information about that.
Yeah.
It was pretty robust conversation. It was pretty robust presentation. Please go online. 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 10 seconds in, we moved to AR3. And that was turned over to Mr. Steele. And that was a discussion about changing the date of the general election to the date of the statewide election in November of even numbered years, beginning in 2026, and providing direction to staff. That was the exact thing that it said. He gave history of our election process right now and how we are off. And sometimes by us being off, we're not always clear on when the date is of the election. And that causes some conflict. So the whole point of this would to be get direction about whether they should look at changing it to make it the same with the general election. So not only did he give history, but he also said that it turns out that in general election years, there's a higher rate of people who come out and vote. And that it was difficult because of the fluctuation dates. Right now, sometimes the election is in March and sometimes the election is in June, based on the law. And they now have the opportunity to write this. So all of the board members felt that this was a good idea for us to look at. There's no decision made, but it was a good idea for them to look at. It starts with creating a new ordinance. So in January, they will come back with a potential new ordinance to start the dialogue. So that was the direction that was given to them, is to let's get started on the conversation.
Right, yeah.
2 hours, 6 minutes, 41 seconds in, we went to AR4, which was to award the contract to Polk Rajak Corporation, the amount not to exceed $65,000. There was a whole bunch of words here, and this was about addressing a flood control channel wall adjacent to property 346 Genova. They ultimately,
okay.
Mr. Spicer motioned, Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly second, and they did a roll call vote, and all 5 of them agreed to do that. So that brought us to pretty much the end of this meeting. So at 2 hours, 16 seconds, 25 minutes in, this was a shorter meeting, they talked about going dark until next year. The next meeting will be Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. And they adjourned that meeting at 9:46 p.m. in memory of Christine Ryan and Gary Sutherland. From there, they then went into another meeting, which I have no idea what this meeting was about. And it seemed like it was a formality, but they convened the Successor Agency Community Redevelopment Agency meeting. They had a consent calendar, 1, 2, and 3. Mr. Spicer motioned, Mayor Pro Tem Dr. Kelly second, all was approved. There was no public input, no administrative report, And at 9:48, they adjourned that meeting. So that meeting was a whole whopping 2 minutes. I have no idea what that meeting was, but it sounds like something they needed to do. And with that, our meeting was over. And I think both of us wanted to take an opportunity to just kind of give a shout out and a happy holidays to everybody out there who might be viewing us or have viewed us throughout the year. We were having a really nice conversation about how there are so many different holidays that people celebrate.
Right.
We have just this month, we have Christmas, we have Hanukkah, we have Kwanzaa. I know that there's some events that are more of the celebration that happen at the beginning part of the year and in spring. And we were talking about how wonderful it is that we have such diversity and the amount of people who can celebrate so many different things.
Yes.
And I guess I would like to encourage everybody to go out there and learn somebody else's culture and take the time to see what celebration you're having. And then in Monrovia, let's all celebrate each other.
Yes, absolutely. And I actually really think that's one of the things that makes Monrovia unique, because I think back at the community breakfast, and I was so taken aback.
How amazing was that? Oh.
Because the 4 people that gave a devotion or offered up a prayer were all members and representatives of the Interfaith Council of Monrovia, and that truly, for me and my sister, because she was one of the founders of the Interfaith Council of Monrovia, and that is truly just brought so much joy. And I've heard from others talking about how good it was and how they felt in that space in November at the community prayer breakfast this year.
Well, whatever it is that you celebrate or whatever it is that you don't celebrate, we are wishing you and your family and your friends a really wonderful, wonderful season of friendship and a season of celebration, and encourage you, as I said before, to go out and learn about somebody else. And if there's somebody out there who needs you to bring them into your celebration, please do so.
Yes.
But thank you all for watching us in the past year, and we look forward to 2025.
Yes. Thank you.